Welcome back. What about platinum? The conflict in the Middle East, is it over? Is it still going on? What's going on with that, and how's that affecting gold? Also, we're going to talk a little bit about what Jerome Powell said this week and how the tariffs are going to affect our economy. I'm Eric Sapanik, this is Brian Keneally, and this is the Gold Spot. So we had a client ask a very fair question, and Brian, maybe you could tell us what was asked.
Yeah, this came in from our client Howard. He asked, is there any current rumble about the middle child? I own some and certainly excited about the uptick in silver and gold, but it seems that China is now substituting platinum for gold for their jewelry market, and the gold-platinum ratio just seems upside down. We'd love to hear your thoughts about that.
I was talking with my colleague Joe about a year ago about just this. At that time, platinum was sitting around $950 an ounce. But the thing that was interesting was that we knew that the supply that was en route to the industrial side of platinum was far less than the actual demand. So it was an intriguing marketplace at that time and still is today. One of the reasons why is because platinum's major industrial use, one of which is the catalytic converter. For those of you that don't know, the catalytic converter uses 3 different alloys. That is the fundamental parts of the catalytic converter: platinum, palladium, and rhodium. What they do is they spool that through the catalytic converter, and what that does is it creates carbon dioxide and turns it into carbon monoxide. That is over 50% of the platinum market right there. After that's the jewelry market. For instance, Tiffany & Company is the big dog when it comes to who buys the most platinum when it comes to one of the most important things, which is the wedding ring. Platinum is a hyperallergenic metal, and nobody has an allergy to that, unlike gold, silver, and a lot of other metals where people can be allergic to those metals. China right now is definitely bringing in more platinum because of the gold shock with the price when it comes to the public sector. And Brian, you had a little bit more to talk about that.
This year, Chinese jewelers imported 11.5 metric tons. Chinese investors' demand is also forecast at 668,000 ounces for 2025.
Interesting enough, you would think that the prognosticators that come from like some of the bigger banks would have much higher numbers in the forecast for platinum with those types of facts for 2025, but actually not really. I mean, most of them are hanging around where we're at right now when it comes to actual platinum price. So quite surprising but gold and silver definitely are where, the majority of all the experts are saying is going to have much higher pricing. Although we still think they might be wrong about platinum, but who knows? Well, only time can tell. But the numbers definitely show that there's a huge lack of supply versus demand.
So switching gears, the Middle East conflict.
That's a big one. This one is making everyone very nervous. You go to bed, the war's over, it was the best strategical strike of all time. Everyone's going to go, put their weapons down, ceasefire. You wake up and we're dropping bombs all over again. I don't think a lot of people have a lot of hope that the Middle East is going to be a peaceful region anytime soon. What do you think, Brian?
I think it's uncertainty in all caps.
But not just in Iran. I mean, once something like this starts to roll out of control, every country around it can get involved. And we've seen this time and time again. I think that this is going to continue to make the marketplace, both the Dow Jones, the gold markets, very, very hard to speculate at this point in time. I find this to be unpredictable. Yeah. What's your thoughts?
My thought is whenever we look at wars, it's always an underpinning to the gold price. And that certainly seems to be the case at this level that we're at now.
Right. The last thing that I want to talk about today is going to be the big news, of course, every time Jerome Powell speaks, is going to be the interest rates. And we're not going to do anything with interest rates at this moment. A lot of people are, like President Trump thinks this is wrong. We should bring interest rates down. But honestly, I personally, Jerome Powell, I don't think he's doing a wrong thing here by keeping interest rates where they are because we're worried about inflation. And then put on top of that, the tariff situation right now, this is something that is concerning to the overall economy for the rest of 2025. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit on the tariffs.
Well, as far as the tariffs go, we're seeing inflationary pricing on many different products that Americans use all across the country, right? In addition to that, not cutting the rates is going to exacerbate the debt. And we're approaching $1.2 trillion interest on our debt annually. This does not bode well for the dollar. It does bode well for the price of gold going forward.
It really is stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. Because if you start to raise those interest rates, you try to counterbalance inflation, but the debt ratio goes up. But the minute you pull it back, then you've got inflation that starts raging back. I mean, right now, I'll tell you, I wouldn't want that job.
No.
That's for sure. Well, I think that's a great place for us to wrap it up today. Howard, thanks for the question. Hope we answered it for you. And if any of the rest of you have any questions, please ask away. We'll be happy to chat about those types of questions right here on the show. All of you have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week right here on the Gold Spot.
If you enjoyed today's Gold Spot, like or subscribe to both our YouTube and Rumble channels. Also, comment below if you have any questions or if you want to hear us talk about a specific topic in a future video.